Welcome to Master Your Mindset for a weight loss breakthrough. Carve out the healthy life you deserve with Adrienne Craig. Adrienne is a certified health coach here to guide women on their journeys toward a healthier life. Adrienne will lovingly hold you accountable and empower you as you create a natural and sustainable weight loss plan designed to keep you feeling good every step of the way. Nourishing food can be delicious and movement can be fun. Get ready to own your power and create lasting change in your mindset and lifestyle. Now here's your host, Adrienne.
Hi, I'm Adrienne Craig. For those of you who don't know me, I am a health coach with Life Canyon Limited, and I'm here to help you carve out the healthy life you deserve. I want you to think about if you would like to get to the root cause of your health and weight loss challenges, and if you're ready to have body confidence on your journey instead of waiting till the end. And I would like to welcome our new audience listeners and anyone who's joining us in our VIP room after the podcast. We're really excited to have you here for some live one-on-one coaching. And I am really excited about my guest today. We are going to talk about, I think, a serious topic, but it's a very important topic, especially with the year that we've all had, as well as just, the grief and loss that people have throughout their lives with different traumas, tragedies, losses. We're going to talk about the impact of that today, of grief and loss on the body and mind. And Kristen and I have both, been through many losses and traumas throughout our lives, which is why we wanted to talk about it. But we also know that there may be people who had a particularly tough year, and that was magnified by the isolation of quarantine during the pandemic. There are a couple things I want to talk about before Kristen joins in telling her story. And I just want to talk a little bit about some of the physical and psychological effects grief has on our bodies and our minds. Physically, symptoms can include fatigue, restlessness, stomach aches and headaches, nausea, difficulty eating and sleeping for sure. And you may not realize this, but grief actually increases inflammation in the body and weakens our immune system, which leaves us more vulnerable to illness. Psychologically, some of the symptoms are difficulty concentrating, anger, sadness, irritability, even feeling disoriented, particularly if there's been a sudden loss in your life. And I want you to understand that depression is not a normal symptom of grief. It's a complication of it. And it's important to distinguish the difference between grief and depression, because grief is a natural process that we go through. And when we go through it, it usually occurs in waves or bursts. It does not lead to that chronic low mood of depression. You should get some periods of respite. You should be able to be consoled by others. When grief is not worked through in a healthy way, that's when it can lead to the depression, which is more isolating. It's feeling guilty, feeling worthless, not being able to be consoled or get enjoyment out of the people and activities that you did prior to the incident or trigger in your life. So here with me is my dear and longtime friend, Kristen Zako. She's a fellow health and life coach, and she's passionate about helping people overcome their depression and anxiety related to trauma and grief based on her own healing journey. And she was able to rewrite her own story after several personal tragedies and traumas and going through a really dark time in her own life. but Kristen believes that we're all unstuckable. And I love that word. And I know Kristen personally because she was my hairdresser and friend for 16 years. She was a hairdresser for 26 years. She had her own business and left to coach because she's so passionate about helping people get to the other side of that depression and anxiety with grief. And let's be honest, she was already a coach as a hairstylist, and I can speak for that myself personally. So I'd like to extend a warm welcome to Kristen. Thank you for being here today.
Oh, Adrian, it's an honor to be here with you. And we have known each other for some time, and we've seen each other go through some stuff and have supported one another. So, and I so honored to be here with you.
Thanks. I'm really happy to have you here. I'd like for you to maybe kick it off and share your story, and I'll jump in with some of my story and the different things that we've bonded on through the years. But I think you'll do a great job of just kicking it off for us.
Okay, you got it. So, so I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes the day of my first wedding. Woke up in the ICU and nearly died. I found out a year later, my husband at the time was a compulsive gambler and addicted to painkillers, and I almost lost everything. I was diagnosed with Graves' disease, which is thyroid. So that's 2 autoimmune diseases that can really do a number on your system and your energy. And since we're talking about depression and anxiety, those 2 autoimmune diseases are good. Those 2 autoimmune diseases, you get those kinds of symptoms from. But
Right.
my stepnephew Danny was killed in the Chardon school shooting. And when my niece had her baby boy, when he was 16 days old, the father broke both of the baby's legs. And then 3 months later, my nephew Nick was killed in a car accident. You have to understand, I don't have kids, but my nieces and nephews are like my kids. So when Nick died, it was like I lost my son, and my world crumbled. And I went into such like, first I kicked into fix it. Like, I just took charge of everything and shoved my feelings. I mean, I would have moments where I didn't even remember how I got from this point to this, driving in my car. Like, I was so out of it, and brain fog and sleeplessness and eating horribly. And I was just feeling all the feels, but then I would shove and pretend I was okay because I was embarrassed, because I didn't want to be vulnerable. And it got so bad that there was a point where I was driving home, and I was driving home and I'm like, screw it. And I just wanted to just jerk the wheel and drive the car off the road, because I couldn't bear another breath of that heaviness and that emptiness that I was feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And it was an awakening. It was the threshold I needed to see, because you can't go. I had 2 choices: jerk the wheel, or, oh my gosh, had the awareness and realization around it. And I knew in that moment, I could not stay stuck where I was. I knew I couldn't keep living like this every single day. I knew I couldn't keep battling the feelings and the emotions that I was struggling with. And I just didn't know where to turn, because I fought vulnerability like straight up gangster fight, like street battle. Like, I thought it was weakness. I thought it was, I'm the strong one of the family. I'm the nucleus of the family. I'm the go-to girl. I'm the get her done girl. Like, I can't be vulnerable. Wow, was I wrong? And it almost cost me my life.
Yeah, that's a key thing, is vulnerability and just being able to admit how we're feeling and not shoving those feelings down, right? I went, that resonates with me so hard, because myself, I've shared numerous losses and personal traumas that you and I have bonded over. When I was 17, I almost died of a Pseudomonas and staph infection after sinus surgery, and I had sinus problems my entire life. And that's pretty scary when you're only 17 years old, to have doctors tell your parents you might not live. And sorry if I'm getting emotional, but
no need to apologize.
so we connected over health. And then I left my marriage of 23 years. So we connected over the loss of our marriages as well, and divorce. And yeah, that was something no one knew what kind of situation I was in at that time. And I can say my ex-husband and I are amazing co-parents together for our daughter, and we get along very well. And like I said, we were together 23 years. So we were together for almost my entire adult life. And so he knows, still to this day, knows me better than anybody else. But, the 2 years before I left, no one knew that. We barely spoke unless we were speaking about our daughter. And we were still going out, putting on this show for other people that, nothing had changed in our marriage. But, behind closed doors, we were pretty much like strangers. And then after about a year after that, I lost my job that I had had for 13 and a half years due to corporate restructuring. So for me, it was a lot of loss of identity and having to reinvent and transform and get in touch with who I was now after all those disruptions. And it was the same thing. It was a lot of just plowing through, getting it done, shoving down the feelings, almost not having time to deal with it because you had to keep going. And as a mom, I really felt that like I had to keep going because I had to be strong for my daughter and I had to make sure we were going to be okay. And yeah, I can really relate with what you're saying. And those are some of the things, that maybe other people are suffering from. And um, you don't have children, but you lost so many loved ones and so many nieces and nephew in a short span. And I've never lost a child, but I know what it's like to lose an unmet child. And there's a pain there as well because you never get to meet the person. And yeah, so there were some tough times for both of us. And I know I saw you at your darkest time, and I didn't even realize what a dark place you were in. Um,
I
and
did
I
a really
saw
good
I
job
saw
hiding.
you every couple months, and you're such a vibrant personality. So I had no idea. I knew you had rough things going on, but I just didn't know how bad it had gotten for you and what a dark place you were in. And that's the thing, we hide those things from others. And I've watched you blossom, and our journeys are about a year and a half off. You're ahead of me by that. And so you've really pulled me along and inspired me through my hard times, coming behind you with all yours. And that's why I'm so happy to have you here today, because you've been an inspiration in my life and helped me on my journey as well. How did you get yourself out of your dark place and get to that blossoming part that I saw in you?
So after that moment, that pivotal moment of having that thought of just ending it all, I had to really do some deep thinking, and I knew I couldn't do it alone. I knew that I had to I had to find somebody that I could relate to, somebody that knew the emotion that I was the dark depression, anxiety, and emotion that I was suffering with.
Mhm.
And I began to listen. I began to listen to other people's stories. I began to watch people who came through on the other side and pick up on their little tips and tricks and things. And I pay attention to their energy, like they're like you said, my vibrancy and high energy. And I wanted to get back there because I lost all of it. Like I would put on a happy face and I'd be like, okay, I can do this. I'm working, I'm automatic pilot. But the second I was gone, like everything just went. And so I found multiple people, mentors, coaches, programs, have joined retreats. Now I'm hosting retreats. And the one thing that I did that I made a commitment to was to move my body. Because have you ever felt the feeling of the elephant when you wake up? And you're
Yeah.
laying there and you're like, how am I even going to pull back these covers?
Mhm.
You guys, our issues are in our tissues. If we don't move, we stay stuck. The emotion will come up, but you feel the feels and then you let those emotions go. I committed, it's been 2 years. Last month was my 2-year anniversary of starting with a 10-minute walk, 10 minutes, putting my shoes on, going outside, rain, snow, or shine, it was happening. And then it turned into 15, 20 minutes. And then I started to really tap into nature. Like I started to really see the changes, and what a great time to start, which was in the spring. And it would always look different to me. And I would see new bloom, new growth, and kind of like, okay, I feel like that was so, it resonated with me because I feel like I'm new beginning, new bloom, new growth. And it all started with getting my body into motion. And the other little trick, when you are laying there and you feel the elephant and can't even fathom pulling the covers back, think of 3 to 5 things that you are so grateful for. And when I say grateful, I mean you feel it into your heart and into your soul. Like, I am so grateful to be alive today. I am so grateful I get to teach my nieces and nephews how to face their challenges. I am so grateful I get to serve people today. Like, I am so grateful for my heart that beats and my lungs that breathe life into my body every day. Like, these are the things. Sometimes it was, I'm so grateful for my 10 fingers and 10 toes. Like, sometimes it was super deep, sometimes it was super simple, but even the simplicity, I meant it from the core of my soul. And when I started to implement those 2 things to my daily routine on top of my strong faith that I have, it's been game changer.
Yeah, gratitude is so important. And, recently, another one of our podcast hosts, Diane McClay, and I were talking about gratitude as well with nature. And because you're right, movement and nature and gratitude are so important. And she was telling me how, in her belief is, when you are in your moment of gratitude, it's impossible to be angry. It's impossible to be sad. It's impossible, to feel bad. You might feel that way before, and you may feel that way again after, but while you're in the moment of gratitude, they just don't fit together. And not sure if there's scientific, backup of that, but I totally agreed with her. I think just personal evidence, I could attest to that. And I feel the same way about nature. And I know you do too. And I've said it numerous times on this show. If you're out on a trail walking and you're seeing other people, everyone is happy. Everyone is friendly. You do not see anyone who's miserable out walking in nature or connecting with nature. And I think that is a really important way to heal. And I think it's great advice.
Yeah. And just to go back to the gratitude, I just heard, I was listening on a seminar, and there is science behind your mind and your body. You can't feel strong gratitude and strong anger or sadness at the same time. If you are in gratitude, focused on gratitude, it squashes out the sadness. That's how I was able to pull the covers back. That's how I was able to get myself out of bed, put my kicks on, and out the door, go for my walk, because I was hyper focused on the gratitude. So those 2 things, and then obviously outside in nature, I mean, every day, every day.
Yeah, you're way more disciplined at it than I am. I love being out in nature, and I've been on your nature retreats. I love spending time with you out doing those. And you are the only person that I will go out and walk in the rain for, because if it's honestly, healthfully, I don't walk in the rain because it irritates my sinuses and allergies. So I don't do it for health reasons, but you got me out in the snow. I used to never walk in the snow. Now I have a threshold of like 25 degrees, and I'll get out there and walk in the snow in the winter. But yeah, it just fills the soul and with peace, and there's just this connectedness, and yeah, it's so important. What else would you like to tell people that you think is important and can impact them in a positive way if they're struggling with their grief and they're in a place where they're stuck?
So what just came to me when you were talking was the word overwhelm. A lot of times when you are grieving and you feel anxiety, it's overwhelm and anticipation, and it's because you're thinking of everything that you know you should be doing instead of honing in on the one thing, the one or two things, like gratitude and getting your body into motion. Everything else, if you structure your day in the morning with those two things, everything else will be so much more, you'll have so much more clarity, and you will handle things better throughout the day. So when I say the word overwhelm, like, well, so when I was, okay, here I'm gonna put you like this. I remember when I couldn't even bear the thought of going for that 10-minute walk. I encourage 10 minutes because I just encourage you to get started. If you say, I know I need to work out for 30 minutes a day, I know I need to go for this, I know I should be doing this, you're not going to do it. It's too overwhelming. It's too much to take on. When you're in it, when you're in the thick of the rock bottom of the grief and the trauma and from the depression and anxiety, you're not going to put your shoes on and go for a walk for 30 minutes. You're just physically, you're going to think you can't do it. But 10 minutes, you dangle that and you're going to be like, all right, Kristen, I could do this for 10 minutes. I could do this for 10 minutes. And then once you get out there, then you do a little bit more and you grow a little bit more, and new development and new emotions, shed old emotions. I can't tell you how important it is for you. I mean, I can't even stress to you how important it is for you to get your body in motion. I mean, if you are stuck, start there.
Yeah, that's fantastic advice. And I want to just recap real quick again. If you are feeling in a place where you're feeling guilty or worthless, or you're isolating yourself, you may be in a depression, and I would encourage you to get professional help, or at least reach out to family and friend to get out of the self-isolation. I also want to encourage self-care, which is probably the first thing that goes when we get in that state. It's so important. And the proper nutrition and movement, which is going to help boost your immune system back and help reduce that inflammation that just comes along with the effects of the body of grief. And we just have a few minutes left. So Kristen, I'd like you to let people know how they can reach you. And I believe you had a giveaway you wanted to share today.
Yes, my giveaway is a thank you for listening. I'm going to give a free clarity call, 30-minute clarity call, one-on-one. That's totally my gift to you. And you can get in touch with me at kristenszako.com, Kristen's All In Adventures at gmail.com. That's Kristen with an I, Kristin. And I just launched, you guys, a 30-day habit healing, and it's structured with all the 4 pillars: the mindfulness, motion, nourishment, nature. So if that's something that you're interested, feel free to reach out. And I teach what I do, and what I create, the programs I create, is what I work myself through. So it works.
Yes, it does. And
my Instagram is Kristen Szako, and my Facebook is All In Adventures.
All right. Well, I want to thank you again for being here today. And I want to thank you again for all your inspiration in my own life. And I look forward to many more years of friendship and support. And if you are struggling with emotional eating, self-sabotage, and the overwhelm of a weight loss or body health journey, you can reach me at lifecanyon.com. And you can also find me on Facebook at Life Canyon Limited and on Instagram. And I want to thank you all for being here with us again today. And we are excited to join our live audience in the breakout room in just a couple minutes.
Thanks,
We'll
Adrian.
See you soon.
Thank you for listening to Master Your Mindset for a Weight Loss Breakthrough. Tune in next time for more groundbreaking insights to help you shift your mindset so you can achieve your goals and feel amazing in your body. Adrienne is here to support and inspire you on your weight loss journey. You don't need to do this alone. For more information about Adrienne or to work with her personally, visit lifecanyon.com.